Welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip.
It has been a beautiful spring so far here at the lake, but definitely a bit cooler than normal. We really enjoy the cooler weather as it makes it very pleasant for working around the cabin. This morning, we decided to head out across the lake to one of our favorite blueberry patches to see whether the blueberries are beginning to ripen yet.
Hey guys, one of the most awesome gifts of nature up here in this part of Ontario are the wild blueberries that grow pretty much everywhere. It's a little bit early, but there's a lot of ripe berries, but there's also a lot that are still about to ripen up over the next couple of weeks. But we're just out here picking some berries, and we're not using what they call a rake. We have one of those where you can kind of just rake the bush, but right now we're picking by hand because we don't want to disturb all the berries that are still yet to ripen. So but these are delicious. If you've ever seen the difference between cultivated blueberries and wild blueberries, these are a lot smaller, but they have so much more flavor and taste and juice, and they're just an excellent source of micronutrients and antioxidants and just everything you need to be healthy. Nature provides it for us. So we're going to spend some time up here picking today, and we'll be coming back over the next couple of weeks to make sure we get as many as we can. And then we're going to go back and make a delicious blueberry syrup if we get enough blueberries, and maybe make some pancakes.
We've gathered a pretty good bucket of blueberries, and it's time to head back to the cabin to make some wild blueberry muffins. Those blueberries were so good, we decided to go back and pick some more.
All right, we're back at one of the blueberry patches. We're just going to do a bit of picking here in the cool of the evening and see what we can come up with. Looking forward to breakfast tomorrow. Yeah, once there was a snake right here. Hey, Linda. All right, we are going to get started on this massive undertaking of the cold cellar cabin. Now we're just doing some inspection, and it's over the last 80 years or whatever since they built it, it's taken a lot of damage. Looks like a tree or two has fallen on it and kind of completely damaged the roof. So we're going to replace that, but once we look underneath, the way they built this thing is they insulated with about a foot of clay and dirt from the island. So I think over the years that kind of caved in part of the ceiling on the inside. So I think what we're going to do is shovel that dirt out, get it out of there. It's going to be a lot of dirt, and it's going to take us a while. And then we'll use some more modern insulating products. Nowadays, probably with 2 inches of foam, you could get the same result. A lot of work to be done, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. This is going to be a great project.
Because we need cold storage immediately, we're going to get the root cellar that the boys discovered recently up and running. All it needs is a good clean out, and it should be good to go.
Over the years, the soil erosion from rain and whatnot has gone about a quarter way up this door, so the door couldn't open, but I'm just digging it back as far as I can to try to get the door to open wide. And that'll allow us free access into this cold storage. It needs a really good cleaning, so step one is get the door open, and then we'll get in there and start cleaning it out.
Nothing goes to waste at the island. And so the soil excavated from in front of the door will be just what Mom needs to finish the garden.
Alright, so the door's open to this room here, and I'm going inside to just get, there's a bunch of debris sitting on the shelves, just build up from years of mice and other things that have been coming in here, and I'm going to be going a little overkill on like respiratory protection and my eye protection, because you just don't know what they're grabbing or what they may have used to insulate old cabins. So yeah, we'll get this all cleaned out. I'm going to blow it out and clean it out, and you know, take anything out that might be worth saving. Like there's some old cooking things that look like they're in here, so we'll just get to that.
It's pretty cool. I think who might have used it or what they might have cooked with. Maybe you just clean it up a bit and either hang it up or use it. Wow, that's cold. That's insane how cold that stuff is.
Kitchen something. I'm getting blocked out.
After blowing it all out, it looks a lot nicer. I'll still probably go in there with a rake and then rake up all the stuff I did end up blowing out. But it looked like, from what we took out, there was 2 tin trays or steel trays that they had in there. They would have probably had some sort of, there's the old shelves, but they would have probably had a, like other carriers that they'd set on top of the shelves, which is what those 2 things were. And then there's some paper in there that was laid out, like kind of tacked to it. So they had it set up a certain way. Now that it's all cleaned out, we'll just use it more for probably storing those food grade buckets that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does it say Gale in here?
Yeah, we don't know. That might be the name of the cook. Hey guys, we've been talking as a family. I think it would be an amazing challenge and a big adventure for us to try and overwinter at the cabin one year. I don't know if we're ready to do it this year or not, but that's something we had in mind, and we started thinking, what do we need to do to prepare for months of snow and ice and very, very frigid temperatures? We need a solution for keeping our water running and not freezing solid. We need to have tons of firewood, of course, to keep warm. And we need to be able to keep our propane tanks from getting below a certain temperature or they stop working, as well as batteries for solar. So thinking of all this, another item that we would need would be a good store of food. So we started putting food away, and that's why we were doing all that work on the cold storage facilities there, and we're vacuum sealing, you know, staples like rice and flour and all the stuff that you would need, because if we're living on the island in the winter, there's 2 months of the year, in the spring and in the fall, where the ice hasn't frozen solid enough where it's safe to drive a snowmobile on, and the ice is frozen too much where it's impossible to drive a boat. So you're actually stranded here for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, both in the fall and the spring. And so with that in mind, we're thinking, you know, you'd have to have a lot of food in storage because there's no way of going shopping. So anyway, that's so we've been putting food away and canning, and we're going to continue to do that throughout the summer. But we'll show you one of the methods we use, which is vacuum sealing, and it's called the freeze, thaw, freeze method, where we take, say, rice and we put it in a bag and then we freeze it for 2 days, and that simulates winter. Something I learned over the years is that, you know, you'll open a bag that's been stored for years of wheat, for instance, and it's sealed and everything, and then it's full of weevils, and you wonder, how did they get in that bag? Well, they're actually there. The eggs of these insects are actually in the wheat or in the flour. It's kind of gross, but that's true. But when you freeze it, then it simulates winter, and those eggs go dormant. And then after 2 days of freezing, you bring it out and let it thaw to room temperature for 24 hours. That simulates spring. And so those eggs go, hey, it's time to hatch, and they begin the hatching process. And that's when you put them back in the freezer for 2 days, and that kills all the eggs. So you now have cleaned out your wheat or your flour or rice from the potential of insects, weevils, etc. And then at that point, you vacuum seal it, and we'll show you how that's done. Every couple of days, or at least once a week, we spend a day just packing food away. So eventually, over the course of the summer, we're going to have quite a good supply in there. And like I said, you can buy the bulk food and it'll stay unsealed. It'll stay good for a month or so, just in its store-bought packaging. So you don't have to worry about it. Just buy it now, seal it when you have time. That's kind of how we work at it. Alright, so I sealed the bottom of the bag. Now I cut it off roughly to the size I need. Alright, so that just evacuated all the air. It's nice and tight. It's all, you can see it's all pulled in tight around the rice, and it feels like a block of concrete. And now it's sealing the top, and then we'll go ahead and put them into the food grade pail bucket. So that looks done. There we have it. That looks really well sealed. So we've got these food grade 5-gallon pails, and always make sure it says food grade, because it's not safe to store food in just regular pails. They have some kind of chemicals that could make their way into the food. But yeah, that's all we have is 5-gallon pail, and then I'm just going to go ahead and lay these in there. They seem to lay perfectly along the bottom. 2 and 3, and there's room in there. There's room in there for one more. And then what we'll do is seal down the top and just get a really tight seal on that, and then I'll write down that this is white rice, and I'll put today's date. and then it goes into storage. And in the meantime,
We'll see you down the road.